Standardized testing in K-8 education does more harm than good. Standardized testing in the K-8 classroom has been much of a debate over the past couple years because people are starting to realize the little value it has in it. Not only has it brought little value towards education, but the testing is bringing more harm than good into the classroom. These tests are adding a great pressure, taking away from the creativity from learning, and directed only towards one certain group of students. This nonsense of learning has gone on for far too long and is degrading the United States public education system. Therefore, I affirm that the United States should shift their focus away from standardized testing to focus on the individual growth of each student. Advantage 1. Standardized tests cause too much unneeded pressure in the classroom for both the students and the teachers. The goal of testing isn't to encourage the students to grow academically, but to promote the community that the school is in. Public school districts play a bigger role in the community than many think. They are the platform for the involvement in their communities, and they are responsible for the children's welfare. Because they play such a critical role in the development, they also play a great role in the economic status of the community. The housing market, the level of education provided, the leadership, and the family involvement within the schools can all be affected by the success of the given school. Public schools are even giving a rating on a scale with all of those factors, which will help promote or not families moving into the area and sending their children to the school. These schools that show more success are given more funding from the government, which can help them excel later. One major way that this success is measured is within standardized testing. Many think that this is the best way to test a wide range of students across 50 states, but in reality, it is causing too much pressure from the higher-ups to perform at a certain level. Teachers are expected to have their students perform at a passable level, which is causing them to use much of their classroom time out of the year to prepare to take these tests. With the pressure from the school district, the community leaders, and the state, teachers are expected to push their students to get the highest grade. Many teachers and administrators are becoming strongly discouraged by the constant pressures on them to raise their student test scores. Educators are considering or leaving their jobs because they are unable to engage in the high quality of teaching in the current atmosphere of their schools. This is a stat given by Stephanie in London. While this overhead pressure occurs, the attention is shifted away from watching the actual student's growth in education to just watching this teacher's ability to teach a student how to take a test. The test is teaching students how to take a test, but not how to understand the content. Many think that this overhead pressure will help push the students and give them opportunity to learn more. The reality is that they're not helping them to learn best on a test, but they're just showing them the content that's going to be on the test. The pressure placed on the students is super immense. According to the National Assessment of Education Progress, students across the nation are showing improved reading scores in early elementary years. However, after the 4th grade, the test scores stop increasing. Many believe that this is because students are getting burned out from more testing. By the time students are graduated from high school, they have taken a dozen or so standardized tests, and that is taken away from valuable class time. Also, the overall grade of these tests is to measure the student's growth, but not the success of the community as a whole. If these tests were created and placed to measure each student individual's growth, then they would be giving extensive feedback on their scores, not just a pass or fail score. These tests would be much more valuable if they were given this proper feedback and if they even were tested on a wider range of subjects. Advantage 2, these tests are not created evenly for all types of students to take. These tests are biased towards the students taking them. They are set up and they're supposed to be made evenly for all types of students and made universal. But that is actually impossible to make a test that can best showcase all types of students because everyone learns differently. In a school setting, different students are given different resources to help them do best. They may have extra time on reading or an extra helper on a test, but this isn't the case when taking a standardized test. There are numerous factors that can affect how well a student is to perform on a standardized test, and these are simply not taken into account by the scoring. These factors include disabilities, test anxiety, cultural biases, language disabilities, test willingness, and social economic status. That is by Erica Webster, which is a part of the League of Women's Voters of Greater Education Committee. A negative result that can happen when testing has on a student is they believe that a successful student is someone who can pass a standardized test, which is not the reality. They should believe that every student is uniquely different in their skills because of the way that they grow as a learner. Last, creativity is lost in the classroom. Teachers find that they are spending a lot more time and resources on the three subjects of writing, reading, and math, and that is taken away from other subjects. Curriculums are adjusted so that students and schools perform better, and therefore students often miss out on their subjects like civics, music, art, and history, which make them a fully well-rounded person. With this lack of a proper education, it will in turn underdevelop the students on certain subjects. In the long run, this can hurt them as they need those subjects to help sustain a smooth running society that they are a part of. Also, the students may not seem to understand the value in those subjects as they grow up. These seem like little aspects in their education, but because of the emphasis that the state puts on these tests, they do add up.